started to get long down into this bottom edge here, didn't they? So when you take that trade into the bottom edge there, you start seeing the dealers getting long into the bottom edge there. The value was bullish, and then boom, straight up. So the dealers getting long into this bottom edge here was brilliant. And that's the trade that we just talked about in the classroom, just as we were coming away from the classroom there. We said the dealers are getting long, weren't they? That's that trade there. We showed you it. So you can see the dealers getting long in terms of the narrative, in terms of this delta here. You can see that from that point onwards, the dealers got long, yes? So what we see here is we see the dealers actually physically getting long into this area here. You see the dealers are buying these down candles here. And obviously what happened shortly after the dealers got long there was that they started to mark up, and we got that big explosive move there. And obviously into that explosive move, they closed off the buyers here, because you can see it's a small buy delta against a relatively large candle. So that's obviously them closing off the buyers at higher prices. And that's it, the end of the move, at least in the short term. And obviously the price at that stage starts to jam into the top edges. At that point, you can see that the dealers are actually rotating into a short position against that phase here. The dealers rotated into a short position there. And you can see that they jammed the buyers at 79s, and the price sold off the buy there. So you can see the dealer's location into this buy trade here fitted in perfectly with the value that was developing on the upside. And you can see that the Prem was also bullish coming away from those areas. So the sell programs had switched off. They were starting to move into more of a buy program off the lows. And it just becomes incredibly obvious about what's actually happening, doesn't it? It becomes incredibly obvious about what they're trying to do off of these low prints. And sure enough, we got a big buy program that kicked off. You can see that that's the biggest buy program we've seen today on this chart. We'll look at the buy programs. You'll see that if we go back to the cash open, that was the single biggest buy program right there. And on the basis that that was the single biggest buy program, it fitted in perfectly with the dealer positioning that was available on the screens. So the dealers were buying the lows at the same time as the Prem was buying the lows, at the same time as the commercials were buying the lows, and then the HFTs bought that caused the spike in the Prem, which caused that buy program in the Prem to then spike and push the price clear through the top edges until we got that end of trend move, that last little leg higher, which closed off the buyers and then gave the opportunity to then fade into that move higher here, gave the opportunity to then fade into that one against obviously the reduction in that sell program. And you can see the change. You see the change evolving off that price at that point becomes pretty obvious, doesn't it? When you look at it from a tick perspective, there's a huge drop off in the tick holdings. So that gave you a really good, easy to read idea about selling the high prices on that retest up here. Very easy to spot sell opportunity on that retest there. You can see the tick is getting murdered at this stage, and it just allows the easy sell. When the tick's short, get short. Simple as. So you can see that the tick's actually starting to roll back around here, but there's still some sell programs coming in here just now. So quite happy to close off some positions down into the lows here, just book some money if you're currently short into that little phase here where the tick's just rolling off the lows here for the time being. It's a nice place to book some cash. So you can see that the classroom, as we were just discussing before we went to a break, was exactly that leg higher. You can't make it up, guys, because it was all recorded. You'll see that we said that this is the dealers are starting to get long into this phase here before the market broke higher. Crazy, right? And that was 30 points, guys. That's another $600 profit per contract. $600 profit per contract if you just pay attention to those positions. It's beautiful. We'll be getting started in classroom in a couple of minutes here, guys.